Hey guys, this is Elia again, this time with the Archer Class Wars Finals. This is the same crossover section as myself, and I just showed the video of Cyprus's Knight Class Wars Finals as well. So here we have the Archer ones, lilbisch up to 6.1 million BR. I believe that, well, it's definitely before patch 5.5, but I hope that that's potted. I had a situation with Cyprus's video as well, where the pots are hidden, and so I can't see them. But yeah, so I hope that's the potted BR, but you can hide the pots because sometimes with class wars you end up using so many that it really piles up and has many rows up in that buff area. There we got to see his huge Thor Sylph and very interesting skill setup on the Thor. I really like it as I was looking at that, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that in play. Again, like the Knight one, I've cleaned up the video. I try not to look at too much of the gameplay. I did clean up, so I know he switches over his resistances a little bit later on, and he has some interesting skill stuff going on there. But I try not to spoil everything for myself too much so that we can sort of see the excitement together and sort of be able to enjoy the thrill of a fight. But I do know the results, unfortunately, so I don't know how things are going to go. But here on his archer skills, we have arrow shot, multi-shot, that's pretty basic, soul hunter for the sun, incendiary shot, which is going to be a damage reducer, and then armor piercer. Armor piercer, it does reduce the your opponent's PDEF, but I think the main reason is really to get rid of the kids. Most people are going to put their hero in the front and the kids in the back, and maybe they want to clear out the kids very quickly. In the mage situations, I wouldn't say that's a great idea. You sort of want to keep the kid around, but actually, in lilbisch's point of view, I think that might be a good thing to clear the kid very quickly, see if you can get into Sylph mode and deal some damage against the player very soon. And if the kid's in the way, then it's very tough with a Thor because all of the attacks are single target, and so it might be difficult to clear the kid if you don't take care of it in the beginning. Here, the Debone Man has done all the work for him in that respect, and didn't bring the kid, so clearly he's going after a timer win. Very possible with this Frigga Sylph. It's pretty hard to kill off somebody with a Frigga, but plenty of potential with Thor, I have to say. That Thor is very, very nasty, so I'm looking forward to seeing this troop just like wipe the crap out of somebody from full health. I mean, that's the fun of Thor, right? Is it's so powerful that people just get knocked out. But I love this skill setup. I would say that if I make a Thor, I would really consider this. The only problem is that I'm a mage, and so it might not be the greatest against other mages. But here, he's got Infernal Inflammation, which is the first skill. That's the only physical attack skill he has on the Sylph. And then, from then on, it's all magical attack. You have Jupiter's Wrath, Thunder Wave, which is the Electro Delphic, and then Shock Chain, which is another Electro skill, which reduces the whole opponent's team, reduces 30% MDef, and so you're going to be dealing a lot more magical attack. And then that last Elphic is a huge one. It's like 570% damage or something ridiculous like that. Lion's Roar. It's another magical attack skill. And so he's set this up. I think it must be intentional. He's good buddies with Atcher, who I think is a very cerebral player and thinks things through quite a bit. So I imagine that he must also be of that ilk and think things through. And so he has all magical attack skills set up so that shock chain is just that much more potent. You throw the shock chain, you reduce their MDef, and then you throw out these huge magical attack Delphics. And so it's very, very nasty. And Infernal Inflammation, it probably is because it has a low cooldown, and Infernal Inflammation also has or will also cause your opponent or its target to take more damage for the next 2 turns. So everything is either some sort of debuff or magical attack. So I think this is really, really interesting. Personal opinion, I think it's very cool. Don't know if he quite got a Delphic in. Oh no, Shock Chain. Debone Man almost dead. Let's see if he can get a Delphic in. And he does. He gets a nice hit right there. Oh, it's like 2-point-something million. Oh my god, that's huge. So Debone Man's dead before he can go to timer. Here's Lambeau. Lambeau has won Class Wars quite a few times, I think. At least a couple. I think his attendance is a little iffy. I think Lambeau actually would have won more Class Wars in the past had he actually just shown up for them. He was such a dominant player for such a long time, and he also, I mean, he's still very competitive. Right now, as far as just BRs go out of the archers, I would not say she's very good about, you know, doing her dimensions and knowing about all the gameplay and everything, but B in particular is just has the most like insane archer BR out of the bunch. Just as far as the archer field goes, just trumps everybody. But I think she doesn't care as much about her dimensions and stuff, so I think she's in a bit more trouble that way. Lambeau actually puts his Tune in the back and then his troop in the front. I don't know if that's to protect the troop, so I mean, not the troop, protect the kids so you actually get some more heals out of it. But archers can control front attacks and back attacks very easily. Well, actually, no, he doesn't. Lilbisch doesn't bring Bloodthirsty, so I guess he doesn't have a blatantly front attack. But even so, not totally. Yeah, well, it's sort of interesting. Oh, Lambeau just took some really, really big hit. So I think that these guys just might not be protected that well against this Sylph or something. I'm not saying Lilbisch isn't powerful, but he probably is getting a little bit of an assist from these people's resistances. I just need to clear the troops. Actually, quite a bit of an effort to try and kill the troops from Sylph mode. Especially with that Frigga there, it could heal and it could shield and all that. Much easier to manage once you're back in Sylph mode. Which shouldn't take too long, except for the fact that both of those troops can steal. But he does have one steal from his own Frigga. Oh, more steals. Well, if Lambeau had gotten more of an opportunity to deal a lot of damage against Lilbisch, this would be sort of funny. Lilbisch could potentially lose on timer just because these troops are up. But it looks like he's doing alright. He'll be okay. He'd be cursing Lambeau's existence, though, if he lost this on timer. There we are. Managed just in time. So Lilbisch at the top of the wins, but not at the top by BR, so he's struggling a little bit in that respect. Looks like the Bowman went with no kid strat. So Kenshin and Lilbisch are in the same guild together, which is terrifying because they're both very, very strong archers. So Wolfreak, a very, very formidable guild. I think we had a crossover GB against Wolfpack, who's, won crossover GB, God knows how many times. But they actually did even better against Wolfpack than we did. Asher helped me out, so I lay out a nice strategy against them, and it worked well. I think my guild is just a little bit too weak for that. Asher repeatedly tries to convince me that somehow his guild is like not as or like the same amount of OP as my guild, which is just not true. It's just looking at who's in the chat, I can tell that he's totally wrong about that. Between having Kenshin himself, Asher, Lilbisch, and some other people, there's just no way. Oh, that's sort of funny. We have Soul Ripper here with a very odd setup, but looks like he has the least OP of the Sylphs. So he's probably at the bottom of the barrel as far as strength and Sylphs go. So he's a little bit outclassed at the moment. But he has an Electro Sylph with him, which is a little bit weird. As one of the troops, don't really like that. So far the troop choice is not as weird as the Knights. The Knights, I was like, what on earth is going on here? It looks like Soul Ripper is just really the odd man out. The rest of them look like they have pretty traditional troop setups, I think. But here we have an odd one. The kid is still alive though, so he needs to clean up. Oh, there he goes. Oh, that Delphic is so crazy. And Robin is using his fire Sylph away. Yes, she is. She did use fire, I think. So Kenshin giving away Robin's Sylph choice. That's sort of funny. Achia? Is that the name? Yes. No. Okay, I'm just really blind and watching this video from way too far away. Aklis? Aklis? I have no idea who this person is. Okay, so I totally ruined it. I totally jinxed everything because now the Sylph troops are going just off the wall again. So here, this person has a Venus and a water troop, and then Soul Ripper had Venus and an Electro troop. I don't know, folks. Very strange. So, when lilbisch went first into Sylph mode, he used Infernal Inflammation. I guess he's still trying that when he goes into Sylph mode second, but his opponent was ahead of him as far as the attacks. So, when you go into Sylph mode first, you can make sure that you're targeting your opponent. So, Infernal Inflammation makes sense at that point. I don't know if I would just switch to Jupiter's Wrath in that case, instead of using Infernal Inflammation. Just go for Jupiter's Wrath, which you know is going to hit, which is, you know, a player priority. So you just go after your opponent instead. So it might just be everybody gets used to like pressing a certain key when they go into Sylph mode. They might just be on autopilot. Here's Sergeant Rob. He is from Chili Max Guild. I didn't know he was strong enough to get into Warlord's Hall. But here he is, also with a Thor. And 2 wind troops, one of which is a Pan, which is sort of funny. I don't know if I've seen a Pan. You can use Pan in here, no problem. The Pan has a steal. It used to be that Pan was just so totally useless. It was the butt of every single Sylph joke that I ever made. Ooh, there he goes. Doesn't even make it into Sylph mode, nasty stun and all that. But now actually Pan as a troop makes sense because you can put steal on it. And so, Pan is... The wind Sylphs are totally useless until they have steal. But you can put steel on a Pan now, which before was not possible. And here's Dark Callie, also with a Thor. So Thor and Frigga seem quite popular right now. And Odin. Actually, with the archers, all of them sort of make sense. Like, you can use any of the Sylphs and you can make an argument for them. With the mages and the knights, it's just a little bit harder because of just the defense, the way the defenses favor. Archers have very balanced defense, sort of lower than the others in some ways, but the other 2 classes favor MDef for the mages and physical defense for the knights so much that it can be a little bit tougher to bring a certain Sylph that only deals 1 type of damage. Here, Dark Callie going in with a disadvantage, though. Got a nasty stun at the beginning, but clears 1 troop very quickly. Oh, and she's almost dead. Big Delphic. Oh, she's lucky she didn't get deflected. She's got a Chaos, but the kid isn't alive, so no huge risk there. Well, Delphic didn't do as much as the other one. No crit. She is barely alive. Oh, what's happening? Oh my god. Only has 10k health. Oh wait, is he dead? She's only hitting the troop. I think he's dead already. It shows him with a sliver of health, but I think he's actually dead. So Callie, by the skin of her teeth, manages to win that fight. Wow. So that's his first loss. But tournament's not over. And here we have Poison Arrow. We saw Poison Arrow's buddy Wartune out of the Knights, and so no surprise that both of them are in Warlord's Hall, really. Both very strong. They have a nasty little team with Ice. I forgot what class Ice is, though. Everything blurs together in Wartune for me. It's not that I don't know people, I don't know that they're like good players, it's just everything just sort of smushes together. lilbisch at some point changed to a chaos rune, which I don't know if is a great choice. Honestly, chaos rune is just not a fan. I'm not like pro chaos rune. Poison arrow going with the Frigga setup, with a water troop and a wind troop. Honestly, though, I would just bring a second Medusa. I don't. Maybe he just doesn't have another one. Didn't bother to build it up, but personally, I always would go with the extra steel. If you want the heal, then you know Freya's the way or Frigga's the way. But as far as Poseidon troop, I think it's a little so-so at this point. Just because awakening points are so important. All the knighthood skills, so many of them are focused on awakening points, and it just becomes abundantly clear that awakening points are really important. So Poison Arrow was just chaos and just healed a little bit, so maybe I'm complaining about this chaos rune and all of a sudden it became really useful. Maybe it's a bigger deal because so many people are using Frigga. So if you have Frigga, you can block the heals and the shield by chaosing. Almost done. There goes the troop. And going after the stun now. There we go. Down goes Poison Arrow. 2/3 of the way through. 10th round now. Phoebe in the lead at the moment. B, who is just she's the queen of changing her name. There's Danahi. Danahi, just very strange setup here. I like the kid. It's nice to see a Wind Ranger in the mix. But the Sylph troops. Why the Sylph troops? Alright. We have two Odins. Probably just one Odin, really. So it shows two Odins. Some people were asking about this with my prelim video for Class Wars, how they thought I had two Freyas all of a sudden, which is not the case. It's that she can actually put Odin on both her kid and as a troop. So that might do good things for her BR. But I mean, you should focus on winning first and like fix your BR at the end. So this type of stuff just kills me. If you're gonna get really aggressive, then you know, go after all wind stuff. So go after all the steals. But this Thor and Odin stuff is not gonna help you out. Maybe Odin a little if you're worried about clearing the troops. Maybe Odin can help with the AoEs, but like, just clear the troops yourself. Don't like it. There's Infernal Inflammation. Again, just not dealing as much because he, you know, lilbisch is so set up to deal magical attack that like, and once he puts the shock chain on and everything, well, I think shock chain was like probably passed already, but the magical attack stuff is going to deal more. Also because the archers probably have lower M-def than they do physical defense. You know, they as far as their gear and everything, the M-def and P-def are always balanced on those. But then they build up their strength stats, so like on their mounts and their tattoos and things so much, that you get a lot of physical defense from that as well. So their physical defense should be favored a little bit. And here's Kenshin, so he's up against his guildie. They're saying good luck to each other, I think. And here Kenshin has a Frigga. And I think Kenshin is doing very well in this so far. I think he's undefeated. lilbisch just taken one loss to Dark Callie, and then I think B is also undefeated. I don't know, maybe she took a loss before this round, but she's up there as well. Kenshin also putting his kid in the front, which is interesting. Maybe this is a real thing to protect against armor piercer, to take the armor pierces onto your hero instead of to your kid, so that your kid can support you more. I don't know. I'll have to ask Robin about that, because it seems this is like the second person at least who's done that. Oh my God! Oh, 1.5 million crit. It just takes Kenshin out. Alright, so that was like sort of like what you want to see with a Thor. Poor guy. What does he say? He just goes down and then one-shotted me. Oh, that's funny. I mean, it's sad for the other person, but it's funny. Uh, lilbisch is saying sorry. Why be sorry? Just win it. Just take the win. You earned it. Not even an adult. Kenshin's saying that it's shock chain that got him, so the shock chain reduces his MDef, so he's taking more damage. I don't know, even with a 30%, with 30% more MDef, you're probably pretty screwed anyway. But wow, it's funny. Now up against Phoebe. Phoebe again, yeah, changes her name a lot. She's been Queenie Bee, Red Beans, lots of things with different bean names in them, and lots of things with B in them. So I just call her B. And and so she's got a Frigga on. Queenie, I think, is sort of not super competitive, and well, I mean, she can be competitive. She likes to fight, but she doesn't push her dimensions too much for PvP. Like I was chatting with her one time, so I don't even know if she did dimensions for this Class Wars. I think last time she won Class Wars, and she had sort of hustled, somehow was convinced to do some dimensions. So I don't know what her setup is at this point. But as far as just sheer BR and sheer stats, easily the strongest player out of the bunch here. No questions asked. She has the highest stats in the bunch, and I think she and Lambeau sort of brought archers out of away from the kids stable. I used to joke with Robin a lot, and she still sort of jokes about it as well, that the archers are sort of like the kids stable out of the classes. Really overall, just it's not that they're weak. It's not a gameplay thing. It's more just like the tunes out of the archers in our crossover section tend to not have as much cash in them, and then the mages have a bit more. They'll have some players that are really quite big, and then of course the knights really have the most money into them. But now the archers really seem to be coming up in just sheer BR and sort of casher caliber. Robin is struggling considerably more. My guildie, my buddy Bird, is struggling quite a bit more to even like stay in the top 5 out of the archers, whereas before she could sort of wiggle her way. She's placed 3rd a couple of times, I think. So yeah, it's getting much more competitive in there, and that's nice to see that they're sort of a little bit more competitive with the other classes as well. Really, though, the knights are tough to deal with overall, and the mages really have some nasty members. Here's Weak As Archer with an Odin setup, very basic with the Wind Troop and the Water Troop, but honestly this is a relief to see in some ways with the way that the classes have, I mean, the Knight and the Archer class wars have gone so far that I've seen, seeing a lot of just really odd troop choices. So sort of just seeing a basic like, let me have a Dark and Light Sylph and then, a Wind and Water troop is sort of a relief in a lot of ways. He's going after Devour Soul. That's gonna be a front attack. But he does not have much awakening for anything. Medusa and Frigga eating him up. Oh, and there he goes. One and done. So here, lilbisch switching up his resistances to put some fire in. I think he knows that the people that he has left to fight, at least one of them is Robin. Oh, he switches over to a Guardian rune as well. And Kenshin previously had told him that Robin was running a Dark Sylph, so I think he was taking out some stuff. Maybe Fire Electro to... not Fire Electro, sorry, Wind Water. I didn't quite catch which resistances he took out, but he definitely put in Fire. And here's Dreamy. Dreamy was once upon a time the Archer. Absolutely the Archer. Really just the biggest of the bunch. Of course, Osri out of the archers. Ozrikon has, we don't see him here. I don't think he's been playing much lately. Neither has his pilot, but Ozuri really just takes the cake out of all the classes. Not just the archers, but like any of the classes. By far the most class wars wins. So if you're an archer and you wanna be considered the best, you have you can win one class wars, but there'll always be somebody who has won way more than you have. Put it that way. Here, Dreamy's got one troop up front with him. Not sure what the purpose of that is. It's very clear what the purpose of being in the front of your troops is, and that's to protect against Devour Soul, which is on the dark and dark light sylphs. Oh, big hit on the Freya. Got the big Odin hammer coming. Troops are dead though. And no awakening points. Oh, there he goes. So lilbisch just really cleaning up with this Thor. Very impressive. I still think, at least for the mages, but overall, in my opinion, Thor has really just been a sylph that's not necessarily good for class wars. Ooh, we have Robin here. This is the last round. Got my pom-poms out. Even though I know the result. Damn it. But I really would love to see Robin win here. She's actually not taking a ton of damage, so just sheer stat-wise, not too much of an issue. And Robin's doing that thing where she's in the back, too. So I really should ask her what that's all about. I mean, it must be to protect the kid a little bit, right? Not totally sure. She's going after his kid, though, with Armor Piercer. But yeah, I was just saying that Thor, I think, is not really, skill-wise, like, a great class war sylph. But because people don't protect against it, and you can just, like, hopefully ruin someone in one shot, somehow it works out. So there goes Midobi. Robin putting on the Guardian rune and then going after a stun. So Robin's setup is very different than lilbisch's. Lilbisch brings the stun, which is just Soul Hunter. Robin goes after the stun using the AoE Delphic. Does she get into Sylph mode? There she is with a Rise. Robin has like the worst set of sylphs as far as just sheer BR goes, so doesn't have much going for her that way. But she always seems to manage alright. Does get a heal rune in there, and one of the Delphics hits what's it called, the troops. But really, lilbisch dealing way too much damage. I think Robin does all right here though. So even though she takes a tough loss there, we don't get to see the numbers turn, but here we are. So big congrats to lilbisch. He wins Class Wars Finals by 509 BR. So his guildie Kenshin, from Kong 8, but they are guilded together now. They had a server merge. Had 509 less BR than he did, and so lilbisch takes it by BR. They both had 14 wins. Kenshin lost to lilbisch, and lilbisch lost to Dark Kali, and then Tanahi's down there with 13 wins, B with 12, my guildie Robin with 11 wins in 5th place. I'd love to see Robin set up because I think she really does go for timer wins. Kenshin was warning Lilby about that somewhere in the chat. I think I saw that. So for sure I would love to see her playing at some point, but still haven't convinced her to do that. And then things go down there from there to Bone Man, Poison Arrow, Lambo, and the rest of the crew. So a big thanks to lilbisch for doing this. I'm really happy to be able to see all the classes this month, and so I really appreciate him letting us use his footage. And so I hope you guys enjoyed. Please share any comments, what you guys think, who would you like to see next month, and see if I can convince them. It is a little bit tough to, people have to volunteer or of their own volition want to record Class Wars, but I would love to be able to see certain people playing and everything. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Take care and have a very good day.